The fuck? Fucking unlawful U-turn in the middle of the street without even a fucking blinker? So yeah, when I say this substation has the largest percentage of dirty officers that I'm aware of, it's because I've encountered the most dirty cops down at this substation. I'm just taking him back here to get gas. Look, he's literally towing him to the gas pump because the officer forgot to put fuel in his vehicle. Now, really, you know, people run out of gas. That happens. It happens to everyone in life. But you have to consider this. Do you really want to trust someone who's too stupid to put fuel in their vehicle at the start of their shift to be making criminal cases against people? What a waste of public assets. And people go, well, it's no big deal. And I'm like, no, it is a huge deal, because not only is the unit out of service, now we've had to pay this subcontracted city employee money to tow them here, fuel the vehicle, then he goes back out and finds another idiot officer without fuel. And you go, well, wouldn't it just be easier if the tow trucks had like a 5-gallon can of gas on them? And you're like, yeah, but tow companies are like, no, we need to get our $75 for every tow. And again, that's what we pay for as citizens. Officer incompetence, complete stupidity, not permitted. There's no ordinance, city ordinance, anything else under that. You know why? Because they can't do it. It's public property. Oh wait, no trespassing. Violators will be prosecuted. Penal Code 3005. No trespassing. You know why that sign's there? Because the police have decided that you cannot go to the City of San Antonio Information Services Department. That is not a public building. Why have they decided that? Because they feel that since the police officers park their private vehicles 150 yards that way, if they let you go here, then you have access to walk back by that other secured fence, and that will create a problem. Oh, what do you see that sign there pointing that way, telling people, oh, if you need an ID, go this way? What do you see up here on that door? Oh, there's a sign here saying no weapons in city buildings, except under Texas law or otherwise. And here you have firearms not permitted. These signs contradict each other. Number one, if you can carry firearms in this building except for under other law, why is this sign here? Number two, if that's not a legal sign, if this sign is legal, why isn't this sign up on that gate? Why? Because the city doesn't give a shit about legal. They don't care about that. What they want to do is restrict the public's rights. And they want to imply that you as a citizen can't do something you're legally allowed to do. And again, if you have business at the City of San Antonio Information Services Department and you walk in that damn building and you pass that sign that says except under Texas law, and you go, fuck that sign's expired, then the city will come out and go, well, we have this sign over here, firearms not permitted, authorized personnel only. And you have to ask yourself, okay, you guys want to play that game? What is the city ordinance or state ordinance saying firearms are not permitted? So that's 515, and this is 401. So I'm allowed to be on 401, and that's where I'll stand. Over there laughing and giggling, making jokes. It's the start of their day, and they should have a good morning. It's the day after Christmas. We all know that Santa Claus probably left most of these officers cold. Some of them probably got some presents, because not all police officers are corrupt and dirty. But at the same time, for those of you who say that all cops are bad, I would tell you that that would mean that all criminals are guilty until proven. They're innocent, in my opinion. So I'll sit here and watch this dude who just pulled up with this tow truck. He's just waiting for his next fucking paycheck. He just dropped this guy who forgot to fuel up before he left. He's like, of course, they're laughing at him and making fun of him, but I mean, things like that happen. Yeah, my glasses are all fogged up. So if he's waiting out here for something, we'll see. If he wants to talk, he wants to talk, but I doubt that. And you walk down here, now there's a guy down here with a skateboard, and he looks pretty chilled out, relaxed. Don't know exactly what he's doing, but it doesn't matter. But there's no trespassing signs, no weapon signs, nothing like that. How you doing? So there's no firearm signs out here. Payment, bonds, property, or arrested persons. You can call the city magistrate, San Antonio Police Department, San Antonio Property Room, Bexar County Jail Property Room, Bexar County Jail, and Bexar County Magistrate. Interesting. So again, there you have PD 22 for transit police. Now, they parked way away from where they need to transport someone into that. Magistrates, usually they park down by where those other vehicles are. Not my issue, not my concern, but just wondering who's driving PD 22, because I do know most of the transit police officers. Most of them have been pretty cool throughout the 4 or 5 months that I've dealt with them, but recently they started harassing auditors, and you guys know me. If they harass me, I push back. He's wanting to get out of here. It's time for him to go home. Good morning. He's like, oh shit, it's that guy. I'll wave to him as he goes by. No, don't recognize him just off of his appearance. And no friendly wave back, but that's typical with the police. I mean, almost all SAPD vehicles are SUVs now. So when you see one of these old cars, the old Fords, you got to go, wow, appreciate it. And here you got people driving right past those signs that say, hey, you can't go driving past here, it's no trespassing. Again, complete bullshit. And the sign right on the road tells them to go right this way. Now hopefully these people won't try to drive into the restricted area. No, they're going to go down here and pick someone up from the jail. And again, that's what that area is intended for. People picking people up from jail, from the magistrates, doing whatever lawful activities they need to do. But again, if that's open to the public, then it's open to all of the public, not restricted members of the public. And the police will always interpret signs the way that benefits them at the time. And the courts will always back police officers up. And they go, whoa, they have a difficult job. We have to understand their position. And I'm like, no, what you have to understand is that their job is to enforce the law, not to create law, not to violate citizens' rights, and definitely not to have stupid ass signs up that lead ignorant officers to violate other people's rights. They're trying to gain entry into the building. Wait, Citizens. Oh, citizens, push the button. Push the button. We may or may not let you in. You see, you can't pay your fines here, but you can pay them there. Because of that, that office is open to the public 24/7. Ooh, that's some nasty phlegm I coughed up. The good news is that I only cough in public servants' faces when they get within 6 feet of me. Now, both of these people went back to their vehicle and got masks on because of the sign on the door. And they're obviously trying to be compliant with city policies. How are you doing?
Okay, how about you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're Officer Lopez?
I am. What's your name? First and last.
Case 130 and 156 for disturbance at the MAGs. Said that there was a male in the MAGs lobby, possibly intoxicated, that was causing a disturbance.
What's your name, sir?
Hold on just a second while I start my video.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. You identified yourself as Officer Lopez. My vision's not so good.
What is your name, first and last?
What's your badge number?
Yeah, I'm good. What's your first and last name?
What is the reason for you asking my name?
We got a call over here at the magistrates of a person causing a disturbance, and it's matching your description.
Okay, what kind of disturbance was that person causing?
Person with the stick, ringing the doorbell constantly. What's your first and last name?
I'm not going to answer any questions.
Okay, goodbye then. Take off. The business is closed for the day. Okay?
Excuse me, sir?
I said take off.
Okay, first of all, you're going to lie to me? You're a piece of shit. I really believe that. No, you can go fuck yourself. You coming up and trying to start shit is inappropriate, Officer Lopez. So again, you can go fuck yourself. What a lying piece of shit, sitting here saying I walked up and rang the doorbell constantly. Can you get your supervisor out here, Officer Lopez? What's that, Officer Lopez? You're not going to call your supervisor? Officer Lopez, I'm asking for your supervisor. What a fucking piece of shit. This is what I'm talking about. Pigs, dirty fucking pigs, harassing citizens. Here's this other officer talking to this guy. She's over here giving me a dirty fucking look. I'm like, ain't got no fucking reason to even approach me. And again, this is what I'm talking about. San Antonio police just cannot let things go. They hate people who film in public, and they always have to cough up with an ego. They always have to boost things where they don't need to go.
Vasquez speaking. How may I help you?
Yes, Vasquez. I need a supervisor to respond to 515 South Frio Street. You have an officer.
1 second.
Blue jeans. I have a walking stick.
What color is your shirt?
Teal.
Your shirt, okay. And do you have any weapons on you, sir?
I'm not sure why that would be relevant.
We need to ask a question on every call, sir, since the officer is responding for their safety and for everybody's safety around there.
Okay, well, I certainly understand that. Do your officers read a specific question? I mean, my point
sir.
my point here is that that's
Either yes or no, sir. If you have a gun or a knife.
I'm not going to answer that.
Okay. Have you been drinking or on drugs?
No.
Are you have any COVID symptoms or COVID positive?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Do you suffer from any mental disorders?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Where are you waiting here? Nearby where?
I'm looking at the flagpole in front of your police station. I'm standing on the 401 South Frio side of the police station. There's a female officer talking to the male officer who violated my rights. And so it would be 35 yards from 515 South Frio's lobby.
All right, just be there as soon as they can. So if anything changes, just give us a call right back.
And what's your officer's name who's going to be responding?
I don't know that yet, sir. Well, I'm going to say that you want to speak to a supervisor. I don't have that information.
Okay, well, the officer has just now walked outside of the lobby, and he's approaching me again, or some officer is. Can you tell me what the name of the sergeant who's approaching me is?
I don't have that information, sir.
How are you?
Okay, well, there is a sergeant approaching me.
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Thank you.
How can I
Bye-bye.
help you?
Well, I'm on the phone with non-emergency.
Okay.
Did they call you out here?
Nah, another officer said there was an issue. What's going on?
Yeah, there's an issue. This guy right here, he says his name's Lopez. Is that correct?
Yes.
You. I'm asking you. What's your name?
No, you're talking to me, Dory. We've gone through all this before. What can I help you with?
Sergeant Robarts. I'm out here. I ain't causing no problems. You know me.
Right.
I'm not causing anybody a problem. And your officer comes up and makes false allegations, implies I have to give him my ID. You know me. I know you. Okay? I'm not out here giving him grief. I'm doing a story. That's what I do. Okay? He wants to talk bullshit. That's up to him. I don't care anymore. I really don't. I'm fed up with your officers coming up and violating my rights. And when he does this, and he walks up to me and says, you need to give me your ID now. And I say, why? And he says, you're over here ringing this doorbell constantly. And I'm like, you're full of shit. Go find another reason to harass someone else. He knows it isn't true. I know it's not true. And he cops an attitude and says, whatever, and walks off. And I'm like, no. That's not an excuse for you to come up and harass me.
Okay.
Why are you approaching me? He says he has a call.
Where was this at?
I was standing right over by this other tree at the time.
What was your business up there?
My business is filming in public. You know that.
Okay.
Uh,
So you didn't go to the municipal court to do something, correct? And I'm not knocking you for what you did or didn't. I'm just trying to understand the whole picture. You didn't have business up here.
My business was following up on PD
On the
22.
signs. Okay.
PD 22 of Via
I'm
Trans.
fine with that. I just wanted to make sure that we're on the same page.
Okay.
So you were up here seeing if the signs have been changed and blah blah blah.
And in addition to that, I followed up on the signs, and then I saw Via PD 22, which has been my latest story.
Okay.
Via Trans issues. I saw Via Trans go down there. I waited outside the gate, didn't bother anybody, didn't knock on any doors. I waved to the officer as
So
he
you
came.
were in that parking lot.
No, I was on the public sidewalk.
Okay. Past that curb line.
Let's walk over here and I'll show it
Okay.
to you. We've gone over this. We've gone over this with the city attorney.
I have no problem with you being back here.
Okay, we've gone over this with the city attorney. I've done this multiple
Correct.
times, and every time I've tried to clarify it so officers don't do what this guy did,
Right?
there's an issue.
Yeah.
And I walk down this public sidewalk. If you look from where I'm at, and I'm going to scroll my body cam, left and right. No signage anywhere saying this is a restricted area.
Right.
I walk down this public sidewalk. I walk past the magistrates. I don't knock on the door. I look at the door. I observe the signs.
Okay.
The city removed the unlawful signs. We talked about this.
Yes.
You know you had illegal signs up here.
So here's my deal, and this is what I'll explain to the officers. I personally don't. I get that this is what your career and this is what you do. We get a call up here for a man causing a problem. People think you're intoxicated, whatever the case may be, but this is what we get a call for. So the officer's out here trying to solve the problem. I'm with you. I've talked to the attorneys. I have no problem with you crossing this curb line, and I will tell Officer Lopez that until the city determines that they want to put a fence here, because to your point, as you said before, at nighttime you have to, this business is used for business. So I don't have a problem with you coming past here in this parking lot. That's it. I'll let him know that. Problem solved. I'll tell him that at roll call until that attorney gets back with us or the city determines, hey, we need to fence this parking lot off. This is basically open for business, correct?
That is correct. That's state law. The issue again goes back to this officer. I'm sorry, Sergeant Robarts. Again, you know me. Do I appear intoxicated to you?
I'm just telling you what a caller called in and said.
Okay.
I'm not telling you, it's not what he said. This is what someone who called said, hey man, there's a man in the parking lot with a stick. He appears to be intoxicated.
And he alleged that I kept pushing a doorbell, which was not in the call. I guarantee you that was not in the call.
That I don't know.
I guarantee you it was not in the call. Sergeant Valdez here, he knows me. I don't push issues. You were polite with me when Sergeant Lynn came out there and gave me the unlawful order. I didn't push that. I came back here, I confronted the unlawful orders. That's what I do. I come out here, I follow up on signs, and your officer comes up to me with all kinds of attitude saying, oh no, you're doing, and I'm like, no, you need to back off.
So let me ask you this, did you ever hear from the attorney?
From James Cobb?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. You took down the illegal signs that I was adamant about. If you notice, your signs that your officers kept telling citizens they would arrest them for if they walked into your lobby, they took those signs down. There's a reason I do what I do. It's not to get officers in trouble. It's to make sure citizens' rights aren't violated.
Okay. So I will let them know that you can go past this curb line until the city determines that they will fence this off. But as long as they use this for business, and you're not doing business here, but it's not for us to tell you can't use that parking lot.
Again,
so
that wasn't even why the officer approached me. He came up to me and alleged I was causing a public disturbance. And I'm standing here and I'm going, what kind of disturbance? And then he says, you keep pushing the button down it. And I'm like, no.
Did the call taker say that?
Yeah, it was about the button. I think that was the issue because we already discussed how far you can go, and we know it's okay for you to go down the sidewalk.
Okay, so you need to contact whoever the call taker is, and you need to go look at that. And at this point, I'm actually going, did they call 911? Who did they call?
The issue is ringing the doorbell, like I said. So
okay, exactly. The issue is ringing the doorbell. So if I did not do that, if I did not do that, and video evidence will show I did not do that, who the hell has the right to call you to try to arrest me for something I never did?
Yeah, we still got to come out and make sure everything's all right.
You do, but at the same time, if I make a false report, then I'm liable for perjury, making a false police report. So what my question is again? We get
false statements all the time.
No, I want to know who made this call alleging I pushed a button, because I can guarantee you that that didn't come in on the complaint.
No, it's it.
I'm pretty sure it was on the key card, yeah. But it might have been somebody else. They said someone with a skateboard. You obviously don't have a skateboard with you. So.
Okay.
There's a person on a skateboard down the street. So.
I'm not disputing that, because there was a person with a skateboard here, and I'm not disputing that either. But your officer could clearly see I don't have a skateboard. What he told me was that a person with a walking stick was repeatedly pushing that button.
Okay.
Did you read that on the? I mean,
I didn't see that
either way, when your officer,
Sorry, I think we're just going to go in complete circle. I'll talk to Officer Lopez. If you think that he was too quick to make an accusation that you were the other guy that he was looking for, he was called for in the parking lot. When he got here, I guess you were the only one out here?
No, the guy with the skateboard actually walked off when he saw him.
Okay, so you were the only one left.
No, he could have approached the guy with the skateboard.
Okay, but he approached you. So we'll tell him we'll share at roll call where you can and cannot go. Anything not fenced, in my opinion, you can go, except for minus that alley. And then we'll share it with them, and
Sergeant Robarts,
yes,
I went over this with Captain Garcia. I went over this with Lieutenant Zuniga. I went over this with Lieutenant Berrigan down at Bike Patrol about officers doing unlawful things. Today was another, once again, issue where your officer assumed authority and then demanded my ID. He didn't say, "May I please have your ID?" He kept insisting I had to provide my name and my date of birth to him. And when I say why, he can't give me a reason.
Okay.
This is an issue with the police department in
Okay.
general. Okay, you guys do an investigation. You come out and you investigate. I understand that.
Okay.
I have no problem. If he could have explained to me an honest, well, we have a report of a guy pushing buttons down here. And when I said, oh, that's completely bullshit, I didn't do that. And he looks and he goes, yeah, he doesn't have a skateboard, if that's what the call came across. If you're saying that's what it is, okay. Then he should have told me at that point, I'm sorry, I have you confused for someone else. I don't need your ID, and walked away. Instead, he wants to double down and keep saying, you have to provide your name and ID.
Okay.
And that is the problem.
He was working on his initial investigation. If it offended you, we apologize. But at the end of the day, man, we do police work. We get calls. We get calls all the time for all various things. 911 hang-up calls, cutting shoes. We get calls for all kinds of stuff. If you got your feelings hurt because officer came and asked for your information because you matched a description of somebody doing something illegal, hey, I apologize if you got your feelings hurt, and I'm glad nobody got hurt. It all worked out. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's an impossible job. You can't keep everybody happy.
It is an impossible job. The difference, again, is how your officers treat the public. Okay? He walks up to me, and he's saying, well, you're intoxicated, and you're ringing a doorbell. He's making accusations.
Okay.
And I'm going, I don't know what the hell you're
somebody
talking
called.
about.
Somebody made an accusation.
Well,
about that.
Again, fine. Do I look intoxicated to you?
I'm sure we're just going to keep going in circles here. I get what your point. You got your feelings hurt because you were standing here in the parking lot for where we got a call involving somebody hitting buttons, and you didn't like being accused of being that guy. I get it. Your feelings were hurt. It's okay.
No, it's not about my feelings being hurt.
I mean, that's how we conduct our investigation. We have to ask questions. And if you didn't like the questions being asked, and it hurt your feelings by asking you certain particular questions while Officer Lopez conducted his investigation, I apologize. But I mean, sometimes you just can't keep everybody happy in this world because somebody called the police.
You're absolutely
somebody
right.
called the police asking for assistance. We showed up to provide assistance.
Who called the police
I don't
asking
know.
for assistance?
And if
Let me just, instead of going about this as adversarial, which we have done, you go back to doing what you're doing. I'm going to go about my way today. I've already got what I needed to get.
Perfect.
That your signs up here are still not clear, but they are misleading to the public. The same with the signs that you guys removed, because San Antonio Police Department, beyond a doubt, recognized 80% of your officers could not understand what the no weapons sign meant.
That'll work.
So they removed those, but they leave them up in other city buildings, and it's caused other problems in other parts of the city. So again, I'm not trying to be adversarial here. What I'm trying to explain to you is that when I follow up on signs, I'm not out here trying to give your officers grief, but I damn sure don't like.
Well, they have a tough job. I mean, it's a tough job of trying to keep people happy. So, and it comes across as, it comes across as you're trying to be difficult and give grief. I can live with it. It's not the end of the world. I don't get my feelings hurt. But just so you know, that's what it comes across as. I mean, there's a million problems in this world, right? That we could go to HEB. We could go find a million problems. We can either be part of the solution or just part of problems. I didn't mind you having an issue with the signs. Hey, you brought it to our attention. The city attorney's working on it. Good. I have no problem with saying, hey, where I work is not a perfect place. We don't live in a perfect world. I can live with that. But when you have someone coming up and just trying to push issues and buttons.
How do you, okay, I understand where you're coming there, but how do you feel what I did today was pushing buttons or causing issues?
Did you have business up here?
Yes,
I
already explained that.
No, I mean, did you come here for a purpose other than to?
Absolutely not. I came up here, I filmed, and everything's
Right,
on.
but you came up here with the sole purpose of basically checking up on us. You came up here with that sole purpose.
I came up here to make sure the sign.
Okay, so we'll go with that. So you came up here with the sole purpose of check. You didn't come up here to pay your tickets. You didn't come up here to do something in municipal court or the police station. You came up here with the sole purpose of checking up on us. Right?
I came up here, and yeah, I'm
Okay.
not going to get into
Good.
semantics.
Then you have to understand. Our perspective is, hey man, this if you were up here and you got confused or doing something wrong and you were selling Girl Scout cookies or you were doing something to help wounded veterans, and there's great causes. But when someone's up here and they're just up here to test you out, like, hey man, we got a million calls. We got people, a lady overdosed about 4 blocks from here. We got a lot of stuff going on, and when you spend time coming over here because somebody just wants to test you, you know, it gets frustrating.
Okay.
Because that woman, we didn't get to send somebody to that call. She had to wait there, overdosed on LSD on the side of the street because we have so many calls coming in. So when a person comes over here and is just testing you, and we have to send 2 officers over here for this, and other people aren't getting their calls, it gets frustrating.
Sir Robarts.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to be flat out with you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
That's complete bullshit, your explanation. And I tell you that because, again, you say I'm coming over here testing you. No, I came up and I checked up on the signs. I walked down here. I made sure the unlawful gun signs were removed so that my city did not get sued. And then I walked down and I was waiting for PD 22 from Viatrans to come out so I could talk to him. Okay, he had someone back in the detention area. That area is clearly marked off limits. I didn't go in there. I waited. He drove out. He didn't want to talk to me. He drove off. I didn't make a scene. I walked out. I waited out here. I was finishing comments, and your officer approached me inappropriately. And again, if he's doing an investigation, why is he approaching me instead of going down there? Because again, the guy with the skateboard was actually walking from here that way. So when your officer is going to say, well, I mean, you just said, in this other Sergeant Valdez said, oh, well, the description was a guy with the skateboard. And the officer said, oh, it's a guy with the stick. Now, one of 2 things is not true. Either the guy had a stick and a skateboard, or the officer decided to lie and say, oh, well, I'm confused. Stick, skateboard, they're the same thing.
Okay.
But again,
Okay.
why he's going to choose, hey, maybe he's like, well, maybe it came across wrong. I'll still check with him. Okay, that's fine. But when I ask him, when his first thing is, you need to give me your name and your date of birth, and I say, why?
Okay.
He won't even answer that. And again, officers don't like it when citizens say, why are you asking me a question? And that is the sole problem with officers in this town. They all get their feelings hurt. You keep saying, my feelings were hurt based off the way the officer approached me. No, his feelings are hurt because I didn't say, hey, my name's Tori Reese.
Okay.
You know my name. Everyone in this damn precinct knows my name. Everyone in San Antonio can look up my Fusion file. I don't hide who I am. But when an officer comes up and demands my ID, I have to say why.
Are you done or here, or are you still waiting for somebody else?
At this point, I'm going to sit back and I'm just going to record how many vehicles come in and out of the San Antonio Police Department area.
Okay.
This is a public area.
Absolutely.
I'm entitled to be here.
Absolutely.
And I will probably be gone within 10 minutes unless another officer comes up and harasses me. I mean, I would have been going anyway. It's raining. I got no reason to be down
I'm
here.
with you. Perfect. Okay.
Um,
Hey, I hope you had a Merry Christmas.
I had a Merry Christmas. I did.
We'll get through it.
No, I had a Merry Christmas,
Good.
and I'll
I'm
have a
glad
Happy
you
New
did.
Year.
I am truly glad you did.
And honestly, Sergeant Robarts, you're not aware of the other issues after this, but down at Bike Patrol, I was unlawfully arrested for failure to ID. No, I know you're not aware of it, but this is why when officers demand my ID, I am so adamant, because your officers don't even know the law. And when I told Captain Garcia about it, he said, oh, I didn't know that they couldn't do it. And I said, if a captain doesn't know it,
hey, they need me. I gotta go.
Go do what you need to do.
If you have any more problems, you let us know. I know you will. Have a good day.
And that's Sergeant Robarts. He was really professional about the signage issues, but as you see, he's implying that I'm the troublemaker out here for just being out here in public and not.
If you need anything else from us, let us know.
Oh, thank you. I'm just talking to my camera. I'm not talking to you. As you can see, as he's walking off, you know, the whole issue, again, goes back to officers not treating the citizens with respect. If that officer had approached me in a polite and friendly manner and asked me what I was doing, I'd have been like, okay, yeah, okay, well, I saw the dude you're looking for. He's right over there. And that officer could have gone and done his investigation. Instead, the officer assumed I'm that guy, even though I don't match the description, and made an issue of it. And again, I have very little tolerance for officers who do that. So he can go fuck himself. This sergeant can go fuck himself. You know, they get mad. They say things. And they go, he kept going, well, because you got your feelings hurt. I'm like, the only person who got his feelings hurt here was your officer. My feelings weren't hurt. My rights were violated. And anyone who says, oh, well, your feelings are hurt, and tries to justify an officer violating your rights under the guise of, well, if you don't like it that your feelings got hurt, that shows you where the problem with police and the disconnect is. Now, again, this sergeant particularly knows very specifically. I came out here with the city attorney and him, and I had the illegal signs taken down that officers kept threatening to arrest people for. He knows where I walked, why I walked where I walked, and the fact that if they want to restrict it, by all means, restrict it. Put up the right signs, do the legal thing, and stop harassing the citizens. But he chose to go there, even though he knows what I do and that I am the one who saved the city from multiple lawsuits for their illegal 30-06 and 30-07 signs, which have been removed. You know, I'm not trying to make a buck off of what I do. I'm trying to make sure the public is protected from police abuse. And again, when the police abuse people and they just fall back and go, oh, well, I don't, it's okay, I'm just going to tolerate it, and they don't say anything, then you have a problem. I'm going to turn off my body camera